What's going on, everybody? Marvel Across 316 back with another comic book flashback. And today, folks, we are looking at Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 88, and we are looking at part 3 to Silver Sable today, folks. Spider-Man is finally, the real Spider-Man that is going to come up against Silver Sable today. So we have a pretty cool issue to look at today. So let's go ahead now and get started. We know that Silver Sable has been hunting down the real Spider-Man for quite some time. She's working for Roxxon. Roxxon wants Spider-Man. They want the real Spider-Man, and we really don't know why. And we're not going to find out in this issue, but we're going to see a little bit of the aftermath. We saw last issue that Peter Parker was stopped by a bunch of policemen who were inside the school. They were doing a random bag check, and now Peter Parker has to give up his backpack, and inside that backpack is the Spider-Man costume. And so how is Peter Parker going to get out of this situation? Well, we see here that a bunch of Silver Sable's men have learned about the media, the press. I mean, they are all over Midtown High School right now. And so we see here that Silver Sable and her men are going to have to lay low here and try to not to get involved here and try not to blow their cover here, because what we see here is that Ross Andrew, the principal, he is going to call for an emergency meeting of the Parents' Council to discuss security. And so we see Silver Sable's men are asking Silver Sable, hey, what's the plan? He said, I'm working on it. So now we go back to Peter Parker. He's being stopped by these three policemen. They're asking him to open up his book bag, and he is frozen in fear here. He has no idea what to do. He can't run away from the police like that. That'll give him his cover away. And so how is he going to get out of the situation? Finally, this policeman grabs Peter Parker's book bag, starts to unzip it. You see a little bit of Spider-Man's outfit here. All of a sudden, with a stroke of luck here, folks, we see that there's a distraction, a major distraction, as there's some kid dressed as Spider-Man running through the halls. And he says, look at me, I'm Spider-Man, woohoo! And so the policeman's like, hey! And so they're chasing after this guy right here. And he's like, hey everybody, Spider-Man is here. It's true, Spider-Man is here. I'll be taking questions from the press in a moment, but first I want to confess to you my true identity. I can't hold it any longer. I must reveal myself to the world. And who is it? It's Mark Raxton. And he is a part of this unsigned band called the Molten Man. And we know that Molten Man is also a major villain, super villain to Spider-Man in the regular universe. But in this universe, Molten Man has not made his debut yet. But we see here that Mark Raxton is going to be taken by the police here, and the principal's like, stop this, get this out of here, no, let him go, let go of him. So Peter Parker is like, wow, what a stroke of luck. He then is going to run away from school, hops up on the top of the building, but then he's like, what a fool am I, what am I doing? There's that news copter right there, he could catch me in the act right there. So we see Peter Parker leaps down, and he's going to go in this hidden alleyway, and he's like, I just can't believe what I put myself into, what I put my friends into. Not only has this entire school been sieged, now the classmates are getting kidnapped, Gwen is dead, Harry's gone, it's over. And he said, and what about Aunt May? I'm surprised Aunt May's not dead yet either. And then he starts thinking, Aunt May. Gosh, I need to stop being a baby, and I need to confront her right now and just tell her the truth. And so is Peter Parker finally going to tell Aunt May his biggest secret? That's the big thing here. So he comes to her work. She's wondering why he is not in school. Once again, she's angry at Peter because he keeps skipping class. He says, Peter, you're scaring me. He then gives her the book bag and says, Spider-Man. So I don't understand, Peter. Did you get hurt? No, listen, okay? Just the TV. Did you see what was on TV? No. Yesterday, Flash Thompson was kidnapped. What? From school. He was kidnapped off of school grounds? Yes, and Oh my gosh, are you sure? Yes, it's on TV. He was on TV. The camera people are there right now. Did they find him? Yes, he was. Is he okay? Yes. Who did it? His father or listen, listen. They thought these people kidnapped him right out of school because they thought he was Spider-Man. What? Little Flash Thompson? Little Aunt May, he's like 6 foot. Why would they think he was this Spider-Man? Because they figured out that Spider-Man goes to our school. They were looking for him, but really they were looking at trying to find the real Spider-Man. He says, Sweetie, Spider-Man is a horrible, horrible person. So we're going to find out here that Aunt May's true feelings towards Spider-Man, and it is not good, folks. Aunt May definitely has changed her mind about Spider-Man, and she thinks that he is a menace. She sounds very much like J. Jonah Jameson in this issue. She says Spider-Man makes her skin crawl, and she's like, that poor boy, they kidnapped him. Sweetie, listen, I have someone to talk to, a therapist. Peter Parker finds out that Aunt May is going to therapy, and she's also going to say, look, you're sweating, you're out of breath, maybe you should go to a therapist too. And Peter's like, maybe. So you chickened out. And so we see here that he's talking to his new girl that he's interested in, which is Kitty Pryde. If you don't remember what's been going on, go back and watch my review of annual #1 to the Ultimate Spider-Man. That is definitely a important video to watch if you want to understand exactly the relationship between Peter Parker and Kitty Pryde. But anyway, folks, we see that Peter Parker is telling Kitty Pryde exactly what's going on and how Aunt May hates Spider-Man, and like, when will he ever be able to tell Aunt May that he is Spider-Man? And we see this one mutant guy comes in trying to peek on Kitty Pryde here, and she's like, gosh, they just barge in here without knocking. Baby's trying to accidentally sneak a peek. Real mature. Whoever's looking for you, the kidnappers, go find them. Can't be too hard. They're looking for you. Just look behind you. Someone is trying to kidnap me. I almost glazed over that part. And then Kitty Pryde gives a big punch to the face to this guy through the door. And so Peter Parker's like, maybe she has a point. I need to take the fight to them. And so we see that at Flash Thompson's house, we have this guy and he's negotiating with Flash Thompson's dad. They said, look, you're not going to get $1 million out of this, but you can get $100,000. And then Mr. Thompson is just not having it. He's like, that's not a lot of money. And he says, once you whack off half for taxes and it's 10% and it's now $40,000. And Flash is like, but Dad, that's a lot of money. And he says, excuse yourself, grown-ups talking. And Flash is like, it's more than you make. And then he walks in and lo and behold, Spider-Man is inside Flash Thompson's bedroom. And he webs up Flash Thompson's face here and he said, okay, so, sorry you got kidnapped and all that, but I need you to tell me everything you told the police about the people who kidnapped you, who thought you were me. Where did they take you? What did they want from me? You know, when the webbing dissolves. And so he finds out all the information he needs to know, where to track down Silver Sable, and he makes it to her facility here. His spider sense begins to take off here, and he just so happens to catch this arrow that was headed in his direction. And so Spider-Man now is going to be on the defensive here as he's fighting Silver Sable's men here, one after the other, and Spider-Man is able to take down these people here because of his agile and his agility and just his spider-like reflexes here, and he webs them all up, and we see that he is just making quick work out of these guys here, when all of a sudden we see that he's finally going to meet up with Silver Sable, and Silver Sable says they were just following orders. There's a certain someone who has paid us a lot of money to bring you to them. That's all, nothing personal, and we're not trying to hurt you. Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? And he then webs up Silver Sable. It looks like Spider-Man is about to win here, when all of a sudden he takes Silver Sable's phone. He's going to push a button and his spider sense is going off, but he pushes it anyway. Boop. And then it electrifies Spider-Man, and it's going to knock out Spider-Man here. Spider-Man falls to the ground. We see Silver Sable's like, okay, cut us out of here. I want to wrap this up tonight. I left my knife in the van. And so that's how we are going to conclude this issue, folks. We have to look to see how this story continues next issue, in issue number 89. I hope to see you there, folks. But anyway, comment down below what you think is going to happen in the next part of this story. Do you think that Spider-Man is going to be turned into Roxxon? And why do you think Roxxon has so much interest towards Spider-Man? I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts. But anyway, folks, go ahead and give this video a like, comment down below again, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next one.